To start your monogram concept sketch, I'd like you to first log into the drive, go to plus new, and add a new Google slide. On that Google slide, I'm going to get rid of this, and I'm going to click in here and I'm going to type my 3 initials. Okay, I'm going to hit a couple of spaces. Actually, I'm going to drag across it and select it, Command C or Control C, and Control or Command V, Control or Command V again, Control or Command V again. So now I have 4 of these here, but I can select them separately, and I'm going to look at some different fonts. You're going to be taking your initials and redesigning them to, in Illustrator, you'll be able to move points and handles and make curves and do all kinds of things to manipulate them, but we're going to start with a basic font first. So I'd like you to look at some different fonts here on this Google slide, and then you're going to sketch some ideas of what you can do with it. So I'm just selecting different fonts. I get to look at them. You want something bold and simple though. You don't want to get into anything too fancy, too curvy and wavy, because it'll have too many points for you to deal with. I'm going to drag across these again. Command or Control C to copy. And I'm going to hit return and Command or Control V to paste. Get a little bit of room here. And I'm going to look at some more fonts. It's nice to have a couple of maybe some cursive type, but you don't want it to be too complicated. But that's a good one. So I'm trying to get some things that look different. Get some variety. And I think if you just get 8 of them, you should look through all of these though. That'll be a good starting point. Actually, make it 10, because I start off, when you're in Illustrator, you're going to look at 10 different fonts. So let's go ahead and I'm going to copy 2. Control or Command C, Control or Command V, and get 2 more. Then you're going to look at those and you're going to sketch some things. I'll try and add a little bit more instructions for you. There's written instructions, but I'll try and make a little video of me doing some sketching. To start your monogram sketch, I already went over making a Google slide with 10 different font samples to look at. I'm going to show you how I would go about doing a sketch. I'm going to go with this one right here. It's just the first one there. And the first thing I'm going to do is put a rectangle that's going to represent the 8.5 by 11 Illustrator file that we're going to work with. And then I'm going to lightly, and this is a concept sketch, so it doesn't mean that you don't change it, and you may do a couple of these. But I'm going to start just lightly sketching what my letters are like here. they kind of lean one way, and then I'm going to get this in here, and I'm already thinking I want to put my O up in here. Okay, so I'm going to get my O in here, and then I'm going to pull the L down underneath it. Okay, which means then my N is going to come over here. Something like that. Okay, so I'm going to clean this up, but this is my first step to it, was getting to where my O kind of sits in there. It's a round letter, and the others are straight and angular, so I just think it fits better to bring it up like this. Okay, so now I start kind of pulling things in around that O. So I'm going to take this kind of an angle here. I'm going to come down here, take this angle out. These are things that you'll be able to manipulate, these points and handles, in Illustrator. So you'll make these changes in Illustrator, but for now I'm just trying to work my letters around each other. Maybe my N angles down like that, so they kind of relate there. Come down here, bring this up here. Now I'm also going to start thinking about what kind of graphic elements to put in it. One thing I can do is I can kind of break these letters apart and add some other rectangles that kind of build off. Maybe a triangle builds off here, starts to kind of break away. A star, maybe I have a star that lays in and becomes kind of the center of the O. I can have some pieces that do this, maybe triangular kind of shapes that curve. I'll have to decide whether my O overlaps or not. Maybe I put some kind of shape here. Let's see, I think I'll bring another rectangle out here. Then I can start filling these spaces with something. Maybe I have a big kind of shape that's here, and what we are trying to do is get the viewer to move around the piece. We'll talk more about that in class when we get a look at these sketches. So let's see, maybe there's some smaller stars that come in here. Let's see, I want to break a piece off here. Up here maybe. Get a little bit of style to this letter with its shape. Same with the L. Maybe I curve, give it a little bit flair, excitement, a little bit of detail and added interest to it. Again, these larger areas are going to need something. Maybe this comes down like that. Maybe some pieces falling off of here. Let's see, maybe there's a little star that's leading into it. Maybe there's stars trailing off there. Let's see here. Let's do some pieces that would fall off up here. Coming down there. Repeat some stars over in this area because your eye will kind of see and go for those repeated elements. Now value is going to be a part of this too, and there's a lot more that you'll do to figure it all out when you're working. This is just to give you some kind of an idea. The first thing that you're going to start to think about is, do you want to work with organic shapes? Are you doing flowing letters or more geometric letters? All those things come into play when you're starting at this point, just getting this concept together. Let's see, I want to do another one of these kind of swooping things, but I think it'll be better to come down this way. Maybe I bring it into here. Not liking that so much. But anyway, I just want to give you an idea of how this process goes for me. And I want you to just look at those letter forms and see what you can come up with for an idea. Look at the slideshow with the samples of what other students have done too. This is just a starting point for when we get in the classroom. We'll talk about a lot of other things.